Hey there movie lovers, welcome back to Movie Flash Recaps, your go-to channel for quick, informative recaps of all your favorite movies. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss out on our latest content. Today, we are going to recap an action thriller movie entitled A Company Man. This film was released in 2012 and directed by Sang-yoon Lim. It grossed over $45 million at the box office and received critical acclaim for its intense and suspenseful plot, as well as its strong performances from the cast. The movie stars So Ji-sub as a hitman who wants to leave his dangerous job and start a new life. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button. It rained heavily that afternoon. Two men were talking in the van. The one with the suit is Hyeong-do, and the other one is Ra-hun. They parked in front of a police station. Hyeong-do reminded Ra-hun to be careful because the mission they were about to do was very dangerous. Ra-hun convinced him that he would be okay, and told him to make a good report about him. He then took a package from the back of the van and entered the police station. Inside, when taking an elevator, Ra-hun met two officers that complained about the package that was being delivered, saying it was damaged. Ra-hun replied that it was not his business because he was just a delivery man. The officers scolded him for his unpolite answer. After that, Ra-hun left the elevator while the officers take the elevator to the upper floor. This is the witness protection room. They are protecting a witness named Yong-han. He is the key to a criminal case of a kingpin. His testimony was very important, and Ra-hun's mission was to kill this man. Ra-hun then approached the room, but two officers immediately stopped him and asked him where he was going. Ra-hun didn't say anything, but listened to the music from an earphone. The officers suspected him because his hand was inside the box when suddenly, he took a gun from the box and attacked everyone in that place. Turned out, Ra-hun was a professional. He killed all the officers on that floor. Yong-han was scared and promised not to testify in court, but it was too late. Ra-hun killed him by shooting him to death. Ra-hun reported that the mission was a success, but when he was about to leave the building, someone attacked him. It was Hyeong-do. He then took Ra-hun's body, put it in the back of the van, and left from there. As soon as he arrived at a deserted street, Hyeong-do stopped the van. A couple of men approached and disguised the van with stickers. Their job was well arranged. Hyeong-do entered an office building that looked no different than a normal office. He didn't look any different from a normal worker, but he was a skilled assassin in disguise. He entered an office named NCM Agency and engaged in the metals sector. Everyone worked their own respective job there. Hyeong-do went into a stockroom where he pulled a lever that uncovered a hidden path to a basement. There, Hyeong-do met a woman named Mrs. Wang. He gave her the gun that Ra-hun used in the mission before. The woman immediately cleaned the fingerprints there and emptied the magazine. Suddenly, a man came out from the back. He was the manager of the company, Gwanjong Tae. Despite the normal look from the outside, the company was way from normal on the inside. The company was filled with assassins, and they worked for everyone that hired them. Jong Tae asked about Hyeong-do's lateness because even though he was a senior in that place, his lateness could not be tolerated. Hyeong-do apologized. Jong Tae asked about Ra-hun, and Hyeong-do said that he had finished him off. After that, Hyeong-do met with his former senior in the agency named Ban Ji-hun. He was once a very skilled assassin, and he was the one that trained Hyeong-do to be a skilled assassin. Hyeong-do owed him a lot for what he had done. He warned Hyeong-do to be careful because they didn't have the strength to go against the agency. Ji-hun then told him that he would give Hyeong-do his car when he died because he knew Hyeong-do liked his car so much. Meanwhile, a detective named Jo Myung-dok saw the CCTV footage of the police station that Ra-hun raided before. Myung-dok is a well-trained detective. Hyeong-do went to a place to look for Ra-hun's address. Suddenly, a group of teenagers showed up and stopped him. One of them was a woman that looked like Ra-hun and was sure to be Ra-hun's sister. When Hyeong-do asked where her mother was, they attacked him, but Hyeong-do's skill was no match for theirs. He easily knocked them all out. The girl is Ra Bo-sul. She went inside her house and returned with her mother, Umi-yeon. Hyeong-do introduced himself as Ra-hun's colleague. He then handed over a bag full of money to her and said that it was all Ra-hun's savings. Ha-run had to go out of the city for a job. Umi-yeon then invited him for dinner at her house. During dinner, it was seen that Bo-sul didn't like her mother and brother. She even said that her mother was nothing but a cheap singer that sang crappy songs. She then played her mother's song, but despite what Bo-sul said about Umi-yeon, Hyeong-do had a different impression of the song. Back when Hyeong-do was just a child, he had been working on the streets, and turned out, Umi-yeon's songs were the ones that accompanied him throughout his childhood days. That day, Hyeong-do was called to the office by the chairman of the agency, Jaeon. He asked him to help with his son's job. He expected a lot from Hyeong-do because he was a senior. He was tasked with a secret mission, namely to monitor one of their employees named Jin Chae-guk. He left his missions and Hyeong-do was assigned to watch over him. Chairman Jaeon explained that apparently, Chae-guk had lost his 7-year-old son due to an accident. Hyeong-do remembered that Chae-guk once showed him his son's picture. Since the death of his son, he often dazed off. Hyeong-do then followed Chae-guk, but Chae-guk's skill as an assassin was still sharp. He realized that Hyeong-do had been following him all that time. He then threatened Hyeong-do. Hyeong-do suggested Chae-guk went overboard, but he refused. He told him that he wanted to resign from the agency. Hyeong-do reported about Chae-guk to Jong Tae, but he instead got scolded, saying he was negligent in his mission and told him to leave. It turned out that Ra-hun was not killed. He was saved and sent to the hospital for recovery. He asked why Hyeong-do attacked him after he completed the mission. Hyeong-do said that he did that to save him because the agency had been targeting to kill him because he knew too much about the company while he was just an intern. Meanwhile, the agency had trained assassins. They were trained in hand-to-hand combat, weapon assembling, and not leaving traces during missions. This man was called Target M, a top-class broker who ran away with investment money. They immediately closed access to the first floor and sabotaged the CCTV. As soon as the man left his car, he felt someone following him in the parking lot. When he was about to enter the elevator, a woman from the elevator shot him dead, while another man brought a trash bin to bring his body away from that place. The murder was very clean without a trace. Ra-hun was returned to his mother. Hyeong-do was then invited to a family dinner. Mi-yeon thanked him for what he had done to Ra-hun. Mi-yeon then shared her life story. She was married when he was 18. After her husband died, their lives turned upside down. Hyeong-do praised her for her struggle to raise 2 children. A message suddenly got a message. Turned out the agency had approved Chae-guk's resignation. Hyeong-do realized that by approving the resignation, the agency had decided to finish off Chae-guk. He called Jong Tae to confirm that, but he instead got scolded once again. Chae-guk had known about the news. He waited for Hyeong-do in her apartment, but he didn't seem to give up on the situation. Both of them fought, but Hyeong-do managed to point his gun at Chae-guk's head. He told Ji-hun to leave from there immediately, but he didn't know where to go. Since he lost his son, he had nothing to fight for. That day, their agency was doing a field trip, as well as a promotional event for Hyeong-do, as the manager of the agency. During the field trip, Jong Tae looked arrogant. He often scolded his employee, even though he only worked in the agency because of his father. Chairman Jaeon himself congratulated Hyeong-do's promotion in front of everyone. Hyeong-do started dating Mi-yeon. They went to a cafe owned by Mi-yeon's friend. It happened that her friend wanted to sell the place and offered it to Mi-yeon. Mi-yeon refused since she had no money to buy it. Her friend was surprised to see her dating someone at that time. Both Hyeong-do and Mi-yeon talked together. Hyeong-do admitted that he used to listen to her songs every day. Mi-yeon didn't expect Hyeong-do to recognize him in the past. It seemed that the relationship between these two was developing in a more serious direction. Detective Hyeong-do happened to come to the area where Ra-hun lived. He asked some teenagers about Ra-hun and showed them a sketch of Ra-hun. They said that they didn't know him at all when suddenly, Hyeong-do passed by with Mi-yeon. Hyeong-do seemed to remember Hyeong-do's face from the incident at the police station before and asked to see his ID and driving license, but unfortunately, he couldn't find anything suspicious about Hyeong-do. After receiving Hyeong-do's business card, Hyeong-do decided to let him go. It turned out that Chae-guk was not killed yet. He was often seen visiting his son's grave. It didn't take long for the agency to find him. Hyeong-do was scolded for not finishing his mission. He was called to the basement where Chae-guk was tied. Hyeong-do was asked why he didn't finish his job, but Hyeong-do just kept quiet. Chae-guk poured his heart and called everyone hypocrites that pretended to be normal, even though they kill for money. He also called Jong Tae an idiot who pretended to know everything, even though he's not once left the office to do a field job. He then advised Hyeong-do that whatever they had done was wrong. After that, he was immediately executed. Hyeong-do was sad to see that, but he knew he couldn't do anything about it. Hyeong-do and his colleagues came to the office building when they found Hyeong-do, who happened to be in the lobby. They wanted to know about NCM agency, but when they checked, it looked like an ordinary office. They were disappointed with that result. Chairman Jaeon and Jong Tae were disappointed with Hyeong-do's performance since he didn't finish his job, especially since they saw the CCTV footage of 2 police officers coming to their office. He told Jong Tae to take care of those officers. Hyeong-do was scolded after giving his business card to those police officers. He was beaten for doing that, but he couldn't fight back because Jang Tae might use his power to finish him off if he wanted to. Hyeong-do started contemplating why a dangerous professional assassin like him was treated like that. He then remembered all Chae-guk told him before he died. He contemplated his decision. Hyeong-do was waiting for Mi-yeon after work. That night, Hyeong-do confessed his feeling to Mi-yeon. The next day, Mi-yeon gave Hyeong-do a briefcase she made herself. Hyeong-do then offered to give her his savings so that she could buy her friend's cafe. He said that he wanted to be her investor. Unfortunately, a problem arose. One of the workers reported to Chairman Jaeon that Ra-hun was still alive, which only meant that Hyeong-do didn't finish his job again. Chairman Jaeon was very disappointed about that. Finally, Hyeong-do bought the cafe for Mi-yeon. At that very moment, Mi-yeon started singing and brought back Hyeong-do's childhood memories. He was really happy to hear that he has a new goal in life, namely to live happily with Mi-yeon. Hyeong-do decided to write a letter of resignation, but he didn't submit it right away. That day, Hyeong-do was going to do another mission. He was escorted by 2 other employees from the agency. He realized that they took another route and smelled something fishy. He told the driver to use the highway. He was sure that his hunch could not be wrong. The 2 were assigned to finish him off. He said that they would never be able to kill him. A fight happened inside the moving car. Hyeong-do managed to get rid of one of them. They then pull over to the side of the road and continued to fight outside the car. Hyeong-do's ability was extraordinary. He didn't spare those who wanted to kill him. After an intense fight, the woman was hit by oncoming traffic and killed instantly. Hyeong-do called Ra-hun and gave instructions to immediately leave their house because the agency knew that he is still alive. Ra-hun immediately called his mother and took her and Bo-sul away. They panicked because they didn't know what happened to them. Hyeong-do panicked and told them to keep quiet. They went to Ji-hun's place to seek shelter. Ji-hun knew something bad had happened when he saw Hyung-so and the others come. He scolded Hyeong-do for bringing them with him. Hyeong-do confessed to Ji-hun that he had kept the money he earned in a secret place in his apartment basement. He asked Ji-hun to take care of Ra-hun and his family when he left to retrieve the money. Before Hyeong-do left from there, Mi-yeon asked for his explanation about everything. Knowing there was no other choice, Hyeong-do told her everything, the fact that he was not an ordinary company man but an assassin. After telling all those truths, Ra-hun apologized to his mother. He just wanted his mother to be happy, especially since his mother often got hurt when she worked. He just wanted to help his mother. Despite his good reason, Mi-yeon still scolded her son because killing someone for money was not something forgivable. Hyeong-do left Ra-hun and his family, called Chairman Jaeon, and thanked him for the time he had given and the years of working in his agency. Hyeong-do said that he had to leave the agency. Meanwhile, all the staff in the NCM agency tried to track Hyeong-do's whereabouts. Some of them also waited in his apartment. Thankfully, Hyeong-do was a very skilled and observant person. He managed to avoid any contact with the assassins that were waiting for him in the apartment, and went straight to the basement to retrieve all the money. He then went back to Ji-hun's house only to find his seniors had betrayed him. Ra-hun and his family were kept at gunpoint. Turned out, Ji-hun had told the agency about Hyeong-do. Ji-hun said that he needed money because he had spent all his retirement money. Hyeong-do begged them to let go of Ra-hun and his family, but they didn't let it happen since they had known too much. Knowing there was no other way, Hyeong-do fight them all. Gunfight happened and Ji-hun was killed there. Unfortunately, Mi-yeon was also hit by a bullet and had to lose her life in the arms of Hyeong-do. The next morning, Ra-hun cleaned the crime scene. Meanwhile, Hyeong-do decided to fight back against the agency for taking his loved one's life. The whole NCM staff was getting ready on their place to welcome the most dangerous assassin in the agency. They were equipped with weapons, while Jang Tae went far away from the office to keep himself safe. Soon after, Hyeong-do entered the office and greeted the receptionist, but when the receptionist was about to shoot him from behind, he had predicted that. He took his gun and killed her mercilessly. He then went to find Jang Tae. He passed everyone in the office and went to Jang Tae's office only to find an empty room. When he left the office, everyone was ready to take action. One of them told Hyeong-do to stop. Suddenly, a gunfight broke out between Hyeong-do and the entire office. Hyeong-do was no match even for the entire agency. H managed to kill everyone except a new guy in the office. He told him to change his job and left from there. Meanwhile, in the detective's office, Myung-dok got the news about the shootout in the NCM agency from his colleagues and immediately went there. On the other hand, Hyeong-do went to the basement to find Chairman Jaeon. He was greeted by Mrs. Wang. She told him that everyone in the agency had to survive and suddenly took a shotgun to kill him. but Hyeong-do's reflex was fast enough to avoid getting shot. Thankfully, he managed to kill Mrs. Wong without any problem. After finishing Mrs. Wong, a man suddenly showed up. This person was Chairman Jaeon's bodyguard. Despite the man's great close combat skill, Hyeong-do still managed to finish him off too. Chairman Jaeon finally showed up. He didn't expect his company would be destroyed by the man he trusted the most. A man that happened to be in that place suddenly attacked Hyeong-do, but he was no match for him. Chairman Jaeon never thought the worker he relied on the most actually destroyed everything. When Chairman Jaeon was about to shoot Hyeong-do, Ra-hun showed up and saved him. All police officers arrived in front of the building and surrounded the place. Hyeong-do was full of wounds and decided to sacrifice himself so Ra-hun could leave from there without getting caught. Hyeong-do told Ra-hun to leave the place and never set foot there anymore. He told him to start a new life with his sister with the money that he had left for him. Suddenly, Jang Tae showed up and attacked Ra-hun and Hyeong-do. Ra-hun was wounded while Hyeong-do still trying to bring him down. Unfortunately, he was full of wounds and was too weak to fight back. When Jang Tae was about to punch Hyeong-do, Hyeong-do managed to avoid him, and he slipped from the upper floor and plunged into the hard concrete and killing him instantly. After telling Ra-hun where the emergency stairs were, Hyeong-do went downstairs to face all the police officers that were waiting for him. Meanwhile, Ra-hun managed to sneak out of there. All his life being an assassin, for the first time, he felt relieved after letting go of all his burdens. Thank you so much for watching our movie recap. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends who might also be interested in this movie. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel for more amazing movie recaps and content just like this. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, take care and happy watching.